Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John Lebang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In the continuing story of the latest shooting that happened in Florida, here's some news that I thought I'd bring up to you. SWAT members are suspended for responding to Florida massacre. Did not misspeak, ladies and gentlemen. Get this. A pair of Florida SWAT team members have been suspended over their response to the deadly Parkland High shooting for rushing to the scene to help. The SWAT members are being disciplined for jumping into action and racing to the rampage scene without permission. Why would they need permission to protect our high school? Kids, our students. Why would there be any? Hey, can we? Where there's a shooter out there, breaker. I mean, how does this go, right? Breaker. We're the SWAT team. We're on location. We're ready to head in. We're not giving you permission to head in yet. Hang on a minute. We're trying to figure things out. But a whole bunch of people are dying, sir. Well, we don't really care. We have to figure out what we got to do first. So hang on. The Miramar Police Department officers identified by the Florida Sun Sentinel as detectives Jeffrey Gilbert and Carl Schlosser did not advise supervisor they were going to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where confessed mass murderer, except guess what? He had a plea, ladies and gentlemen. His plea in court was not guilty until just a few days ago, and we'll get to that. So maybe he was confessed, or maybe they tricked him into confessing. They do those sort of things. Allegedly wiped out 17 students and staff, and allegedly. So confessed, supposedly, according to the news, he's confessed, but it's still alleged. The reporting of the mainstream manufactured news is appalling. And out of the whole thing, we had the FBI that said, hey, we know about this guy, but we're going to do nothing. We had police officers standing outside doing nothing. We have police or SWAT team members rushing to the scene to save the kids, and they're in trouble. Yet the FBI, nothing. No trouble over at the FBI. The police department, the police enforcement agency, the law enforcement agency, they're in Florida, in this town here. They're dropping fall guys left and right. They dropping a fall guy for not going in and dropping fall guys for going in. Apparently, either way was bad. So how are we supposed to save the kids from a future attack if you're telling me the cops can't go rushing in without permission to save the kids? And if a guy's sitting outside doing nothing, he has to lose his job. Which way is it? How can you have it both ways? You want to know why this event happened? Again, it was the FBI who was lackluster in their investigations, just like almost every prior shooter and attacker and terrorist attack going back to the Boston bombing. Then you have a local police agency that suspends a guy, or a guy resigns because he didn't go in and it was embarrassing or something. I don't know why he didn't go in, but whatever. He wasn't allowed to go in. Apparently he followed his job, because from what I'm hearing in this is that they're telling him not to go in. Don't go in without permission, folks. Don't go in without permission. Doesn't matter if we're going to save people's lives. Don't go in there without permission. Now, to get back on the alleged shooter, the suspect withdraws his plea. The Florida shooter suspect's lawyer has filed court papers saying he is withdrawing his preliminary not guilty plea and will enter a no plea at all. So he went in and said not guilty, and now he's saying, well, I'm not going to plead anything right now. But allegedly he confessed. But now you can't confess and then call it not guilty. Now it's no plea deal. The whole thing's a mess. Public Defender's Office said the young man would plead guilty if prosecutors do not pursue the death penalty, but no decision has been announced on that. Now, I'd like to get back to a local talk show host, Mr. Frank Beckman. He's on 760 AM, WJR. I listen to him on the way to my day job when I'm, having to do that stupid thing. He said this week that these guys don't care if they get killed when they do it. And I'm telling you, Frank, you're an idiot. In fact, I've been listening to Frank a lot lately, and I'm wondering how the heck is he so popular, and then other people, yours truly included, don't get squat compared to him. This guy sits here and rambles on all day, has guests on and all that, and he probably knows, about what I know on most of these things. Maybe a little less. You can't tell with these guys. And he makes the statement that these guys are doing it because they don't care if they're going to die. And I'm telling him, you're wrong, man. I have it right on this one. They want to be famous, Frank. I know you're probably not listening because I'm not as cool as you. But listen, Frank, these guys are not doing it because they don't care about their lives or they don't care about living anymore. Most of these people are sociopaths, narcissists. They want to be famous. And boy, the mainstream media, including you, Mr. Frank Beckman, Mr. Frank Beckman, including you, sir, have been talking about this guy, have been saying his name and making him more popular. He's probably more popular than, what's his name? Charlie Manson. He's probably more popular now than Charlie Manson. So you know what? The next guy is going to go, well, geez, I can't get popular any other way. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go shoot up something. Then we have the law down in Florida. The NRA is suing the law, by the way. NRA sues Florida over a gun bill the same day the governor signs it into law. And the law covers, allowing teachers to have weapons if they want, taking away gun stocks, or bump stocks, I'm sorry. Now, if anybody's been paying attention to the story, it's big time news, right? Was a bump stock used in this shooting? Do you know the answer to that? The answer is no, it was not used. Then why is it part of a law that comes from this shooting? And why does the law not entail investigating the FBI in something? Why isn't there an FBI investigation on why this guy got through? Just like everybody practically since the Boston bombing. Can't answer me that. So we have a law that makes it illegal to have bump stocks, yet the bump stock wasn't used in the attack. The AR-15, still there, by the way, which is fine. I'd rather not the gun laws to be changed. Now, and they're raising the sale to 21. So if that's the case, if we're going to raise the sale of firearms to people who are 21 instead of 18, then shouldn't we change it so you can't go into the military until you're 21? Because if someone can go into the military at 18, spend 2 years in the military, the minimum, and then come out, and you're 20 and you want to buy a gun and you've been fully trained, you still can't buy a gun? How ridiculous is that? So we either raise the age to match that to go into the military, or this law is completely stupid. I told you weeks ago how we fix this. You add anyone between the ages of 18 to 25. I'm covering a bigger area. Anybody from the ages of 18 to 25, you have to have a sponsor to buy a gun. You have to. And the sponsor's got to have 5 years of experience with a gun. After 25, it doesn't matter. That would go a lot further in sorting out the whack jobs than this law is. All you're doing is preventing the whack job from getting in a few years, which is going to build up their hostility, or at least could build up their hostility. So when they finally do get their gun, they have plenty of time to plan this rampage that they've been wanting to do. And that takes out the total fact, or I shouldn't say fact, that dismisses the idea that this person could have been manipulated, or any of these people could be manipulated or twisted into doing these sort of things. Again, another law, and I told you so. I mean, I don't want to carry on with this again, but it took 3 weeks, 2 weeks to make this happen in Florida. And now more states are going to follow. We're having a national walkout. Kids are nationally walking out for 15 minutes or over this. What do you guys, I don't understand the mentality behind this. These symbolic gestures, symbolic political gestures are the most useless thing. It's like those things on Facebook that say, I want to raise awareness for some sort of cancer, so I'm going to have a meme up there, and we're going to need a lot of likes. Those are useless gestures. The law that was just passed is a useless gesture because it's not tackling the main issue. Why didn't the cops go in when they obviously had a chance? The cops that did go in to defend the kids are being punished. The FBI, who knew about these guys, and I'm saying these guys because this is not the first time they had reports of a subject and they did nothing about it, or they might have talked to some subjects and whatever after that. It still happened. Nothing about the Promise program, which if we didn't have the Promise program, then this kid would have been found out a lot earlier and he might have been busted before this thing could have ever happened. The odds were in the favor of him avoiding being busted earlier because of some stupid government program that doesn't want kids to have a record. Doesn't want kids to have a record, even though the kid is a bad apple. See the lunacy that government engages in. It's frustrating. It is seriously frustrating watching these politicians dance around their mistakes and then they take it out on law-abiding people through gun laws and this rule and that rule. The FBI failed, the government failed, the police force failed, and here we have a law that addresses none of those issues. And the sad thing is, ladies and gentlemen, more laws like this one are coming, and it's going to do nothing to prevent the wackos from doing these dastardly deeds. We got to take a quick time out. More on the flip side. Where do you think you're going?
The John Lebang Show will be right back.
So grab a beer